Hello friends, welcome back to another Microsoft Flight Simulator video. Today we are going to take a look at the new version of the working title CJ4 mode, which is 0.10.2. Point 2 is the hotfix after 0.10.0. They released two hotfixes to fix some of the issues that were introduced by 0.10.0. So we are parked at Okinawa Airport General Aviation Parking, ramp 20, and our destination today is going to be to Ishigaki. I hope I pronounced it correctly, in Japan. So this is roughly an hour flight with the CJ4. It has a relatively short destination or waypoint that we need to worry about when entering, and we will go through the improvements or the new functionality introduced with the new version of the mode. So without further ado, let's jump into the cockpit and get her started. Okay, we have done this many times. I'm gonna go quickly. Battery to on, avionics to dispatch, and if you noticed, the source for air is at norm, not off, and this is based on the information from the developers. This is what the real life practice is. They said you never turn it off when you power down the aircraft, so they just changed this. And as you see here, there are some messages on the FMC. It says initialize position. So we'll go to the position initialization, plug this in, paste it there, and then the message will disappear, and then it says no flight plan. So there is this message system, and all the messages are displayed under this messages screen or window. So yeah, let's go back to the index, position initialization. Airport we are parked at is Romeo Oscar Alpha Hotel. We cannot enter that. I keep forgetting this. Let's get to the plan page and it will enter it. When I plug this in here, our destination for today's flight is going to be to Romeo Oscar India Golf Ishigaki, and we can always recall this flight plan from SimBrief to make it a little bit easier. So to do that, we go to the index, next page, route menu, flight plan recall, and it will load the flight plan for us. We will execute it, and there is our flight plan. And if I go to the next page, I see, let me check the route here too as well. And current flight, Ganju, Diana, and then we will select our arrival and departure. There is no SID today, so we are departing from runway 18 left. No SID. And then the next page, Roa, Ganju, Ganas, Utah, Yuski, Diana, Ro, and then our arrival starts there, which we will worry about. Messages is one thing. We'll go to the performance page. Let's calculate the performance. Our cruising altitude is 43,000 feet. That's correct. We'll take 5 passengers. And then in terms of fuel, according to SimBrief, it is showing a block fuel of 1.22 kilograms or tons, 1,220. I think it's close, so we'll leave it alone. We'll do the takeoff performance. Winds are coming from roughly, according to our position, roughly from 100, and I am reading 6 knots. I will check that with the weather report. So 100 It says 12, but I'm reading 6, so I will stick to the 6. Outside air temperature at Okinawa is 20 degrees Celsius, so we'll plug that in there. And the QNH is actually 1022. 1022. We'll plug this in here, and while that is done, we'll turn on the beacon and we will start our engines. Engine 1 starting. And while the engines are starting, there are some improvements to the V path or VNAV path smoothing. That means the aircraft used to lose the path and it was displaying no path at the PFD. Now this smoothing the path while doing the turns or sharp climbs, it's more smooth and it shouldn't lose the path and keep on track when the VNAV is engaged. There are some format improvements over here on the displays, and as you see, the terrain and weather indication is here. So if I turn on the terrain, it will turn to blue and it will display if I can, hold on, let me zoom out from here and go to the flight plan page. Terrain, why am I not, maybe it's this one. Yeah, I was on the wrong one. We'll go to the present position while the engine needs some fuel to run, so we will put that in there and we will get rid of that. And we have to turn the avionics on, so I'm gonna wait a little bit more until the engine's stable and spools up and gets online. We will take a look at the terrain. There is a relative terrain map that is replacing the default with the new version. So the engine is pretty much up and running. We'll start the next engine. We'll turn the avionics on now. And now we can put the terrain on there and it should start displaying it. As you see, the map over here, that's blue is the water, it's the sea, and then the oranges are the heights. What I mean by relative terrain map is as you climb above the obstacle, it disappears from the ND. So that's why it's called the relative terrain map. We have the presets for the nav radios. So if you go to the tune page, actually if you press to the soft K next to the nav 1, now you have the auto or manual tuning. Auto will tune to the nearest VOR station every 6 minutes, and then you have some presets that you can tune and have it there if you want to tune to that frequency quickly. And this is shared between nav1 and nav2 radios, so this is sort of a bookmark page for the frequencies, the common or the frequencies that you use often. You can make bookmarks up to, I believe, 20 different presets. Yes, so that's that about the navigation or radio page. The other thing, now we have the go around procedures. Let's see if we are in the plan mode. I think this is all changed because I updated the, so we'll go to the plan mode and we will plug the plan mode to memory 2. Alright, so if I go to the arrival and departure page and select our arrival, which is going to be and ILS Zulu to runway 04 via Jotun with no transition. So if we execute that and go to the legs page, now there is a discontinuity. So to clear this, you select this and copy it to the scratch pad and paste it over the discontinuity, which will take care of that discontinuity. And then as you see, one nautical mile missed approach, and I think we can zoom in just a little bit and step through the waypoints and show you how that looks like on the missed approach, or we can do an intentional missed approach on the way, because I'm not sure how it's displayed, but now it is there, it's introduced with the new version of the mod. So forgot to turn the engine on for fuel, so let's get that started, and I think we are pretty much set for departure. Performance is calculated, I believe. Takeoff speeds, we will send them to the PFD, and as you see, the takeoff speeds are now displayed here, not down below. VOR preset, you can change this from that, and then the preset will become FMS. And to change it, I think it is through here, where you change it to VOR 1 or 2. If there is something that you plug into VOR 2 and want to use that one. Also, the bearing pointers are now updated. So if we go to here, if we put VOR 1 to bearing 1, now as you see, it's updated, or it's displayed different than before. The formatting is updated or improved in that sense, and the rest I think we will look when we are up in the air. So let's go to the present position menu and then put this to memory 1. So 1 is present position, 2 is, I believe, plan mode. Yes, it is. And hold on, 2 is plan mode, 1 is present position, and 3 is also plan mode, looks like. So we'll just change this to arc and save it there, just for fun. Alright, and then over here we will change the format to the radial. Anything else that I want to point out here? I think I don't have anything else. Some improvements there, and we will look to more. There are more, and I will link a showcase video or feature discovery video. I will put the link to the description field if you guys want to check and see a full feature discovery type of thing for the new version, but I'm intended to keep this short. So what we will do is we'll take a look at our taxi route. We are right here, and why I don't see our flight plan. So 18 is there, never mind. We'll go direct and then enter the runway from there. Let's turn on the nav light. Oh, one thing, taxi, landing, and pulse lights are now updated. As you see, the lights are pulsing now. It wasn't doing this before. And the strobe light behavior is also changed, but we'll go to the taxi and I'll show you the strobe real quick. It's in the right sequence now. Okay, So we are ready to start our taxi run. We'll go flaps 15 and add some power for her to start moving, and then we will head to the runway. And I'm using the live traffic. I see 2 planes at Okinawa trying to depart, and we will be the third in the line. Okay, let's see, 15 minutes into the video. I'm gonna try to keep this video as short as I possibly can. I don't want to keep you for an hour, just to show some functionality and share how it looks like. Also, let's do this. Let's put the terrain to here, maybe. There we go. And let's get to the runway. Alright, we are getting close to the runway. After that plane, we will be departing out of Okinawa for our destination airport, Ishigaki. I keep forgetting its name. Ishigaki, it's hard to pronounce the airport names. Okinawa is easy, Ishigaki hard to remember for me. So, getting close to the runway. Oh, the other thing now, the nav source will automatically switch when you hit the approach button, based on what's tuned into the nav radio for approach. It will tune to that and change it to that nav source automatically, and we can take a look at that when we are arriving to Ishigaki airport. So we are getting at the halt short point, and I'm not gonna enter the runway right away, so therefore we'll turn on the strobe, we'll turn on the landing lights, and we'll turn on the seatbelt signs for our passengers.
Attention please. The captain has turned on the seatbelt sign. Please fasten your seatbelt and shoulder harness at this time.
Okay, we are gonna wait this guy to leave. And in the meantime, we'll set our altitude for 43,000 feet. And we'll turn on the flight director, we'll turn on the nav mode. And for now, we'll use flight level change for a little bit, and then we will engage VNAV when we are up in the air. So, he is gone. It's our turn. Give him a little bit more room, and then we'll be on our way. Alright, let's roll. Adding some power. Hold on, I know why it's enunciating master caution. We'll turn in the P2 heats, which we haven't done. Oh, the other thing is the window heat is always on right now. So when the P2 heat is turned on, the window heat also turns on and stays on, like the real aircraft in real world. So that's what's changed with the new version. Let's maintain the center line, and as you see, you will see the flap speeds here when we get in there. Flaps 35, as you see there. So, oops, I was trying to show and take off at the same time. Alright, gear is coming up, and we passed flaps 35 speed, and that's flaps 15 speed. So when we pass that, we can safely bring the flaps in, like so. Okay, the flaps are coming in, and then we can turn on the autopilot and yaw damper. And the autopilot now will take us to our start following the flight plan. That's what I was trying to say. Like so. Let's keep it here. And as you see, the terrain is disappearing. Like so, we are only seeing the sea. She's climbing quickly and turning around for that, and we'll turn on the VNAV now. So therefore we don't need to worry about anything. She'll take care of the rest. So that's the takeoff. we share the terrain and the weather information. Now we'll turn on the weather, and that will display the weather information around us. The flaps are in, and we can now safely say, okay, we are on our way to our destination airport. So that's Okinawa behind you guys, and yeah, we are on our way. So what I will do, I will keep flying this route and get us close to our initial approach fix, and I will bring you guys back for us to take a look at some other stuff. But before we go, if I get close to the FMC, I want to show one more thing. So the direct to was taking us to the waypoints, nearest waypoints directly, but now we have another option. Let's say we have a vertical direct to. That's what I was trying to say. Let's say if ATC instructed us to cross the Diana at 10,000, and if we plug 10,000 in there and put it here, it will clear all the restrictions before it. And as you see, it's there, and the VNAV will calculate the path according to this direct altitude that we want to go at Diana. So that's one of the things. And it says checked altitude selector, as you see. To clear this, we'll go and press this. Oops, maybe from here. Next, clear, delete that. Okay, looks like we cannot delete it. Maybe through the legs page. Yes, good. Okay, check altitude selector. It's asking us to switch to maybe the standard barometric pressure. I'm not sure what that message refers to. I am not sure why it's showing that message, and I'm not sure what this means, to be honest with you. Maybe just because we entered the restriction, maybe that's why. Can we clear the messages? Huh. This is a little bit interesting. Okay, we switched to the standard barometric pressure. Yes, we did. She keeps climbing. We'll pull the throttle to climb, which I should have done long time ago, and turn off the landing lights because we are way past 10,000. Alright, so as I said, I will bring you guys back when we are getting close to our initial approach fix. See you in a little bit. Welcome back, friends. We are approaching our top of descent, as you see in the screen on the ND. It's gonna start flashing, and then the aircraft will start descending. I set the altitude for 8,000, and that's because on our arrival we have an 8,000 restriction, 8,000 or above restriction at Diana, and Johto is 3,000 or above. So if we go back one page and get close, we can also set this 8,000 restriction here for Diana. And now, because it's there, we can safely descend down to 3,000. We'll pull the throttle back. The aircraft started to descend, and we will get to our final waypoint or initial approach fix, Johto. I did butcher it, whatever. And I'll meet you there, and we will do an intentional missed approach, and I'll show you how to fly a missed approach from there. I will see you in a little bit. Let's get rid of the Navigraph window, and we will discuss some other things that is happening on the PFD side, like arming the approach mode and all that. I will meet you there shortly. Welcome back, friends. We are very close to our initial approach fix, as you see, and I wanted to discuss and talk about what I have done to get the aircraft ready for our approach. So I'll explain those while we are descending and getting to there. So as you see on the flight plan page, there is a missed approach and then the holding point, and if we go to the menu and hold page, it's automatically entered by the FMC. We are holding at IGE VOR station over IGE VOR station at 3000 feet, and that is our holding pattern. And I already calculated or filled in the approach page with the information. And the other thing is I did the barometric reference for 330 feet, that's 326, but I just rounded it up for 330. The other thing is the IGE VOR station has a frequency of, if you go to the tune page, 115.4. So that's what I plugged into nav2 source, and I changed my bearing pointer to VOR2 so that we track that and we have a visual reference for the VOR station. When we do mist, we can hand fly and according to this needle and go to the holding point, or we can use autopilot to do that, which we will do. This aircraft climbs very quickly, so I'll try to narrate the approach, approach and the missed approach part as best as I possibly can, and hopefully that will give you some more understanding. The other thing is these little blue diamonds, which gives us the situational awareness for the ghost ILS needle, where it captures the localizer frequency. This is something that has been here since I believe the 0.4 version of the mod, if I'm not mistaken. And this also gives us the option to track our vertical and horizontal position relative to the ILS beacon, so which is also handy. So we passed 10,000. We'll turn the landing lights on. I forgot to do that while I was speaking again. Bad piloting there. But we are getting close to our initial approach fix, Jodo. And when we reach to this waypoint, Yaima, we will arm the approach mode. So that's the change with the new version. Before, by pressing this button, it was activated, but now you are arming it, and when you arm, it will be uninsulated here with white text as APPR, and when the aircraft captures the localizer, it will turn to green, and then the nav source will automatically change to the localizer, to the green needle, and we will together see that happening when we get close. So we are just a little bit away from that turn, 8 miles. We are getting there, and the plan is when we pass 3,000, initially we have to go down to 2,000 to capture the glide slope. And when we capture the glide slope, we will set our missed approach altitude back to 3,000, and from there we will intentionally do a missed approach on the final when we reach the minimums. I think at about below 1,000 feet I'll take control and disconnect autopilot and yaw damper, and then we'll see what happens from there. But now we are getting close to the turn, 5 miles away. Anything else that I forgot to tell you? I think everything is there. Activating the missed approach or go around is done with this virtual button that they put into the cockpit. You can also make it a joystick button or bind it to a joystick button, or this auto will go to inhibit when we are on our final, and this LS key, the soft key on the side of the FMC, if you press that and change it back to auto, that will also activate the missed approach go around procedure that's programmed into the FMC. FMC is getting this information from the navigational data. It is the published missed approach on the chart, and it will fly that published missed approach. Hopefully, I don't see it on the flight plan right now, and I am hoping, because it's in the FMC, it will fly that missed approach. So as you see, now we are going to make the turn to Jodo, which means we can arm the approach mode. And as you see, approach is enunciated here with white text, and localizer 1 is also white. When we get there, it will capture, and we need to descend down to 3000 after making the 2000, I'm sorry, after making that turn, and get ourselves ready for landing. I keep synchronizing the heading just in case if anything goes wrong. We'll use the autopilot with the heading mode and try to go to the holding point to the VOR station by using the needle as a reference.
Altitude.
So we are getting to 3000. We heard the altitude call, which means we are 1000 feet away from the set altitude. We'll set the barometric pressure, or we'll set the pressure or QNH one more time by pressing the B key automatically. As you see, the blue diamond is there. That's one situational awareness for us, and then the second one is here, which you will see coming around when we make the turn. And as you see, now the armed approach is activated. The aircraft is trying to capture the localizer now by making the turn, and you see the diamonds here now. We need to slow down now, so therefore I will also drop flaps to 15, drop the landing gear, which will slow us down, and go to 2000 feet. And let's hope that the aircraft will descend to 2000. It should. Flaps 35. It's a little bit early, but better to be safe than sorry. And our reference speeds are already programmed, so our approach speed is 107. So I'll try to maintain that. During landing, you can also do pulse lights. That's optional, or you'll be fine with landing lights as well, if that's what you want. So the aircraft is now trying to capture the localizer. That's the airport right there. So we are a little bit below our reference speed, so we'll try to maintain the speed ourselves. Throttle control is on us due to not having an auto throttle in this aircraft, but the rest will be done by the autopilot. So the glide slope looks like is captured now. It's green, so the aircraft is trying to get back on track, as you see here, and it will, when it joins the flight path, it will capture the localizer and it will start taking us down. It is directly going to Belas waypoint, and we are descending nicely, so a little bit more than the approach speed, but couple knots is no problem. And hopefully we will make the turn to capture the localizer. That is the runway right there, and everything is looking great so far. We'll see this green diamond coming around to the middle. We started to see the radio altitude of 2000 here. I believe that's the radio altitude, or no, it is the barometric altitude still. It's also displayed here. I think that's my guess, or it might also be the radio altitude. I'm not sure. If anybody knows for certain, please let me know in the comments what that is. I assume this is the radio altitude, not barometric, but they are very close, so it just makes me wonder if that's also another enunciation of the barometric altitude. So let me know if you know for sure. Alright, we are about to make that left turn and capture the localizer. You see the needle coming around to the center, and in a minute we will see the aircraft aligning with the runway for landing. So the speed is looking great, 107, nicely captured or adjusted by me manually, and we are waiting for the localizer, which we are now back on track. We captured the localizer. I'm gonna look at the puppy lights to see if we can... Oh, there is no puppy lights. This airport is very basic, looks like, but so be it, no problems. We can also try this later on in the next video on a known airport, maybe one of the big ones or the international ones, to see how published procedures are also displayed on the ND. We are passing 1000, so now we can set the missed approach altitude back to 3000, which is there. Missed approach altitude is set. We are coming down to our minimums. Aircraft is trying to stay on track. We have a 16 knot crosswind coming from the right, and can cut the throttle just a little bit more. Approaching minimums. 500 checked. Speed is looking good. Okay, so that's the right radio altitude. I can verify now because it's different. So, alright, we are getting there. So now I think what I'm gonna do is I'll go missed, press this button, throttle to full, flaps in, landing gear in. So we are going missed. 10-degree climb to 3000, and as you see now we are seeing the published go around procedure here. The aircraft is climbing, so we will track that needle, and what we will do is we'll change the nav source to FMS, and it's tracking that, so we can turn on the nav mode, and we'll cut the throttle a little bit so that we don't overspeed, and we do flight level change of 174, 170. Okay, so now the aircraft is climbing back to 3000, and it should now enter the holding pattern. While it's holding, we will program our approach one more time and try to land again. That's the plan. Okay, so we are entering the holding pattern now. As you see, it's gonna start circling around until we reprogram our approach. So let's go and do it. Go to the departure arrival page, deselect the ILS, reselect it, and if we go to the legs page, you see it's there. Oh, the overspeed. Okay, it's the overspeed indicator. We'll cut the throttle. We are at 3000, and we are going to try to stay below 250, and the aircraft will do turns. And let's go back and finish our programming. And what I want to do is I want to add the other waypoint, which was, I believe, let me double check that, Yaima. Okay, so what I want to do is, because that was the waypoint before our initial approach fix, Yaima, and then we will put it in here, and then now we can execute this, and now the aircraft should start going to that waypoint and executing the approach one more time. So we're turning around, and when we get there we will activate the, or arm the approach mode, not activate anymore, and then we'll take it from there. And we can now tell the aircraft to exit the hold when it reaches that magenta line and turns around and captures it. Just waiting for aircraft to get there. Now we are capturing the holding pattern, and let's tell the aircraft to exit the hold like so. Now it should exit the hold at the exit point and then go directly to the Yaima waypoint and then start approach again. So this is how you fly the missed approach. You press the takeoff go around mode, that will activate the missed approach, and then the aircraft will start climbing. Throttle is at your control, so you have to maintain the throttle and program your approach again and come back to your initial approach fix and try to land again. And also having that VOR station tuned will give you a visual reference. And as you see now, we exited the hold and going directly to the Yaima waypoint, which is the active lag here, and we will eventually go down to 2000 at Johto. What we can do is we can turn VNAV on one more time and let aircraft go to the waypoint that's 10 miles away, and then we will turn around and try to land again. In the meantime, we'll try to keep the speed around maybe 170, so that the turns are not too wide, a little bit more sharper, and we don't overshot the turn. Okay, so coming one more time, and we will this time land the aircraft properly. So this is something that the new version of the mod brings. I think this will be a lifesaver when you are flying on an online network like ViewSonic or iVio. If you are told to go missed, now you have a published missed approach that you can fly using the FMC, which makes it so much easier and increases your confidence when you are hesitant on online networks whether to, fly with Microsoft Flight Simulator or not. I think I would at this point fly this aircraft without any hesitation in any of the online networks, and I will be just fine. And maybe next video we can give this a try and do it a live ViewSonic video and try to fly it on ViewSonic and see how easy it is to operate this aircraft when the ATC is live and when we are using ViewSonic or iVio. We can take a look at it. If you are interested to see a video like that, please let me know in the comments, and I can plan and do that video in the next episode if something more important doesn't show up in the meantime, like a new version of the Airbus A320. Actually, there are some changes to that. I want to share those, but let me keep it to the next video, or maybe if I can find some time I might also throw in another video midweek to go through the improvements very quickly, maybe even without a flight using the Airbus A320. Anyway, So we are getting close to Yaima, 4 miles away, and at Yaima we'll arm the approach mode one more time and maintain our speed around maybe 170 and take it from there and land the aircraft this time, and hopefully it will be a good landing. I had bad luck with crosswinds and ground effect of Microsoft Flight Simulator in my other flights, and the aircraft shifted towards the left or right side of the runway. Hopefully this time we can maintain the center line and land this aircraft without any problems. Okay, 170 is good. We'll stay at that speed until the turn, and then we will slow down to our approach speed of 107 when we get there and ready to capture the glide slope. I don't want to slow down too much before capturing the glide slope, because that will bring us very close to the stall speeds, and we don't want that to happen. So now we are making the turn from Yaima to Jodo waypoint, which means we can now arm the approach mode. So approach mode is armed. We'll set the altitude to 2000. Maybe we'll stay at we'll stay at 3000. It will be fine. It will capture the glide slope. It captured it last time. It shouldn't be a problem this time as well. Alright, ghost needle is there. We made the turn a little bit sharper this time. We were about 200 knots in the first one, and we can go flaps 1 to help the aircraft a little bit and maintain the speed around 160 knots. Alright, coming to the initial approach fix. Let's synchronize the heading one more time, and we will do it one more time again when we make the final turn. Our approach course is, I believe, 040. Everything else is already set, like the barometric minimums and all that, so we will shortly see the nav source automatically change to the localizer, and when I think the needle gets close, it should switch to the... So the approach mode is armed, but I don't see it changing again, maybe because after the missed approach, but we can change it ourselves manually, not a problem. Now we should start capturing the localizer. Let's slow down. At Beylas we will drop the landing gear. We are very far away right now, so we don't want to drop the landing gear right now, but we will when we get there. So the glide slope is armed, and we are getting down to 2000 now to capture it. This time it's a little bit more proper than our last try. So now we should, I think it was at Beylas, we should see the glide slope captured. At 2000 the diamond is coming down, as you see. We are on the localizer. The aircraft is correcting for 17 knots of crosswind coming from the right. That's why the nose is pointing to the right. Now we captured the glide slope. We'll drop the landing gear. Landing gear is down. We are coming down to our approach speed. We'll monitor the speed, and as you see, final approach course is 040. We are 6.2 miles away from the runway, and nicely descending and maintaining the glide slope and the localizer at the same time. This crosswind might pose some problems during approach, but well, that's fine. I have no problems. I think we will be just fine landing like this. Still monitoring the speed. I'm watching it closely come down to 107, and I'm gonna maintain it there when it reaches that. Having a throttle quadrant helps tremendously when you are trying to maintain a certain speed and need to adjust the throttle slowly. It helps a lot. So autopilot and yaw damper is still on. So we are at 107-ish, so we'll stay there and try to keep the speed around 107. We are not gonna let the aircraft slow down more. We have one more level of flaps that we can drop for landing, and that will slow us down, so we have to add a little bit more throttle to keep the speed around the approach speed. As you see, now this time everything looks fine. We are bouncing a little bit, but that's not a big problem. We'll increase the throttle just a little bit more. I'd rather be above 107 than being below 107. That's much more preferred, at least by me. Alright, passing 800 feet. We'll set the missed approach altitude again, and hopefully we don't need to do it this time. Okay, just a little bit faster than I like. Approaching minimums, 500 is checked. So now the radio altitude is displayed accordingly, and getting ready to disengage the autopilot and try to maintain her on track manually right now. Autopilot is disconnected now. Monitoring the speed and the path to stay on track and maintain the center line of the runway. Coming down. Minimums checked. Continue. We are about to hit the runway. Correct ourselves. Cut the throttle and lift the nose up so that the speed bleeds and we land nicely. Okay, coming down. Touchdown. Speed brakes are engaged, so just a little bit to the side. I'm not sure why we are thrown to the side of the runway like this on final part of the landing. It always pretty much happens, but at least we landed safely. So applying the brakes, speed brakes are retracted now. We'll slow down and maybe turn around. Oh, there is an exit there, I didn't see it, so we'll exit from here and we'll maybe stop somewhere around here. There are no markings on the ground, so my destination airport selection was not great. We'll turn on the taxi lights, strobe light can go off, and we'll start our taxi. We'll bring the flaps in, and there it is, guys. We are at our destination airport. Still keep forgetting the name. And there are no buildings around, so interesting. So that means we will probably park somewhere here and call it a day. So let's slow down and maybe just, I don't know if that's a side road or parking spot, I am not sure where are the parking spots on this airport. So what I will do is I will park the aircraft here, and then parking brake is set. Now flight director can go off, taxi light can go off, nav light can go off, and we can now shut down the engines. Alright guys, that's it for today's flight. That was the working title mod 0.10.2, which included go around missed approach procedures using the FMC. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next video.